What's up, guys? James here. Michael's here listening to video, so if you hear something, it's him. And this is the beginning, part two to my book. The two fighters battled endlessly, while Steve and his warriors fought Herobrine's minions in the stands. Who would come out victorious? No one knew. When, as if out of nowhere, Herobrine's minions vanished. Steve looked over into the arena and saw that Herobrine was on the floor with an arrow in his back and blood gushing out, and Notch with a blood-covered face. What just happened to Herobrine's minions? Steve asked, Notch as Herobrine's body sank into the arena floor. I've banished him with that arrow into the nether, he replied. What does the arrow have to do with anything? Questioned a very confused Steve. The arrow locks him in the nether so that he can't be released, and should the arrow be pulled out, he will die, was his response. Oh, is that why he sank into the ground? Yes, now please stop asking questions. He asked. One more question. What happened to his minions? They just vanished. They vanished, exclaimed Notch. This is bad, this is really bad. What's he done? What's so bad about them vanishing? We need to go down to your village, get your warriors, we need to go ASAP. Why? Just do it. Herobrine has managed to counter my arrow's power. He's attacking your village now, and the fighters you left there can't hold him off for long. Okay, warriors, come. We need to save our village from Herobrine and his minions. They are attacking the village now. Yes, sir, they responded in unison. Down in the village. It can't take them much longer. When will Notch save us? Said the commander of Steve's army. As if on cue, once again, Notch came down, riding on a majestic-looking horse, and Steve and the other warriors also came down, also riding horses. Warriors of Steve's village, march forward and fight in the name of Notch, for I have come to save you, Notch shouted. Stop your shouting, Notch. You knew this would happen, so why do you act like you didn't? Herobrine shouted from behind Notch. So just stop. It is hysterical when you act like this. No, I didn't. I didn't know that you had built up enough power to do such a thing. Wait, hold up, Notch. You didn't know he had enough power to do this? I thought you saw all, Steve asked. Well, I knew he had power, but not this much power, exclaimed Notch. So you know most things, but not all things, Notch, asked Steve. Okay, but still that's not normal. You always knew when there was a mob behind you, and you always knew how to beat it. Yes, I know most things, and yes, I always knew where a mob was and how to kill them, but in my defense, they weren't a banished angel like Herobrine. They are much easier to read, Notch said. Sure, Notch, let's play that game. You know it isn't going to last long, though, Herobrine said. Herobrine, shut up, Notch responded. Then, suddenly, one of Herobrine's minions vanished, minions started charging at Steve, but Steve's reactions were quick and decisive, and the helper shouted before he died that they had lost. Herobrine looked up and stopped fighting with Notch, and saw to his biggest surprise that while he was fighting Notch, Steve and his army had defeated his minions, and with it he vanished. Yes, now you guys should be able to rest easily without him bothering you, but you will still have to fight the other mobs, Notch told Steve. The others are nothing compared to what we just fought, said Steve quite confidently. True, was Notch's response before him and his horse vanished. That night the mobs didn't even compare to anything, especially with the horses that Notch had given them. Next morning they finally buried the dead from the first and second night that had started their adventure. Continue reading the next part. Okay. This is 2016. What you just read was how all this was even started, and now you will be seeing the perspective of 7-year-old Steve, who was obviously not around when any of this happened, so don't comment asking what happened in between. That's a different story. Okay, Steve, now go to bed. I've told you the whole story of how he got to come to life on this planet. Steve's mother, Veronica, said. But, said Steve, no buts. Go to bed. That night, when Steve finally went to bed, he had a vision from Notch about how one day he would be the best warrior there was, and that is how his story began. The next day, Steve asked his mom and dad if they knew what his dream meant. No, Steve, you don't know what it means. Maybe ask your history teacher what it means. Maybe he might know, they told him. Later at school, when history time started, Steve asked his teacher, Mitch, if he knew what it meant, and his history teacher asked him to see him after school so they could talk about it. When Steve heard this, he couldn't stop thinking about what it might mean, and his thoughts were interrupted when his math class started. Steve, will you please show the class how to solve this math problem? Asked Steve's teacher, Miss Stank. Stammered Steve. Steve, have you been paying attention or even? Asked Miss Stank. Yes, of course I have, Miss Stank, said an embarrassed Steve. Are you sure? Because it looked like you were dozing off into space. Yes, I'm sure I was paying attention. Okay, I'll see you after class to talk about this. After that, Steve went up to the board and quickly showed the class how to solve the problem. He then hurried back to his seat, feeling extremely stupid for not paying attention. When school ended, he grabbed his stuff and walked to Mitch's classroom. And on his way there, he ran into his best friend, Jacob. Hey, Steve, what happened in math today? You were completely in a trance, asked Jacob. Oh, it was nothing. It's just a weird dream that I had last night. I'm going to talk to my history teacher about it. Want to come? Responded Steve. Sure, Jacob responded. When Steve arrived at his history class, his teacher quickly shut the door behind him and then shut the windows, acting very strangely. Why is Jacob here? He asked. Oh, I just wanted him to know what's going on with me in math class and why I was staring off into space, Steve responded. Oh, okay. So what's this all about? Asked Steve. Okay, last night I had a dream last night, and I was fighting mobs, and then after that I saw myself mining in some caves. Another part of village raising a statue of me with a plaque saying, Steve, the savior of our village, said Steve. Wow, that is pretty cool, I know, right? Yes, I know it's cool, but back to the point, you wanted to know what it meant? Well, it means that one day you will be the king of our village after saving it, and eventually you will be the best warrior and miner there ever was, stated Mitch, and that it's not going to be easy if Herobrine is listening, and that is why I closed the windows and the door. Shoot, that can't be good if he did listen in on us, said Jacob. Wait, wasn't Herobrine banished down to the Nether? My mom told me the story, asked Dave. What, you didn't hear the recent news from the past week? 2 whole villages recently vanished into thin air. That can't have anything to do with Herobrine, said Steve. Well, it was Herobrine, because one day later, while authorities were still searching it for clues, they found a witness to what had happened, claimed Mitch. And the witness claimed there was a strange traveler with pure white eyes that had a wound deep in his back from an arrow, finished Jacob. After he told authorities this, he started having a heart attack and died the next day. The same thing happened to the other villages that vanished. There was always that same witness that had a heart attack, said Mitch, and the victims also had a small mark on their back, shaped like a creeper that said "You're next," and everyone who saw it died one by one, said Jacob. And the marks are made with the victim's own blood. Down in the Nether, a small 7-year-old kid will never manage to defeat me and my creepers, laughed Herobrine. Ow, that arrow wound hurts, Minion. Don't massage hard on it. Yes, sir, replied the Minion. Butler, get me some lava wines. And that will be it for today.